Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yung, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Ba-Zi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of motivation, communication and success. In today's episode, it will be a continuation of the 2022 forecast series for the animal horoscopes, and for today's animal horoscopes, I'll be touching on those born with the tiger and rabbit within their Ba-Zi chart. Now, in the beginning of the video itself, in the next segment, I'll be showing an introduction, and that's because there are many new viewers coming to my channel. So if you are familiar with the Ba-Zi and all the different pillar representations, please go straight into the timestamps that I've given for tiger and rabbit. Please remember, this is a year where it comes to communication. Please show gratitude. Watch how you comment, watch what you say, because at the end of the day, you want auspicious and good energy coming towards you and not the angry energies coming, especially with the 7K and a lot of the power elements that are coming. I'll see you in the next segment. Hi, welcome again to this particular segment, and like I mentioned in the introduction, if you already know what each of the pillars of the Ba-Zi chart represent, and if you've gotten your Ba-Zi chart, you can go to the video description where I've included the timestamps straight away to the tiger and rabbit forecast. Now, if you are new to my channel, first, before you understand your chart, please scan this QR code or go to bazicalculator.janetyong.com to get your personal Ba-Zi chart. And like I mentioned in many of my videos on Ba-Zi itself, the year generally represents the bigger company environment, the industry, your relationship with your grandparents or your boss's boss. The month, basically, it's about your immediate superior, department or relationship with your parents. The day, it's more with your spouse, your colleagues, your peers, or your partner if you have one in the business. And the hour generally represents people younger than you, your relationship with your children, as well as the hour pillar represents your action. Therefore, it also will represent the investment. And when I share each of the animal horoscope later on, I'll explain what it means when the tiger and the rabbits are in either the year, the month, the day, or the hour itself. Let's take a look at the tiger. The tiger basically ranks number 8 in the 2022 race itself. Why is this the case? Because 2022 is that of the water tiger year. Therefore, naturally, you would have the Grand Duke in your horoscope palace in 2022. Having the Grand Duke in your palace generally represents maybe people of power, your superiors, or there are authority directly behind you. So if you are someone who's up for changes, someone who's okay with taking on bigger responsibilities, usually then you will not have such a big issue in the year of the tiger, which is your own horoscope year. However, if you are someone who is not so keen in taking up responsibilities, or if you are unaware and you go to basically dig or renovate in the Northeast Tree Palace in the year 2022, and in Chinese we call these 在太岁头上动土, or basically touching the spot where the Grand Duke or the God of the year is, of course you're going to have major issues. So be aware where you spend time, where you do your renovation and cutting or knocking in the year 2022, and it should be an okay year, especially when you have the Wen Chang intelligence star in your chart, because in any kind of situation itself, you will be able to find the creativity and talent to resolve situations and to resolve problems. So please do take the step and basically face up to your challenges, and you should be okay for the year. Although there are 2 of the inauspicious stars that you can see here, which is the injury or sword blade star, do take care, spend time in the auspicious sector, and be aware of where you should not be knocking, cutting, drilling, especially in the northeast, which is the Tai Shui area, the tree killings in the north, or the misfortune 5 yellow area in the center of the house or the office in the new year itself. Now, there's also this misjudgment star. So depending on where the tiger is within your chart itself, please be aware that do not jump to conclusions, especially when I mentioned that this year there'll be a lot of power elements causing people to want to have authority and power struggle. Because if you are impatient or impulsive, definitely there are chances of misjudgment and running into issues and obstacles. If you look at the tiger is situated in the Northeast Palace, and in the new year you will have the Wealth 8 star in your horoscope palace. So imagine if you spend time in the 8 wealth and relationship star of the year and the other good sectors of the year itself, it will be generally a pretty smooth year for you. So if you have the tiger in the year, maybe within your bigger company environment or industry environment, more responsibility will be given to you and you must be willing to take up the challenge. If it is in the month, then it generally means having that authority and responsibilities within your given department or sector or in the career that you are looking for. So if you are someone who's willing to face up to it, then it would be great. The only thing you need to watch out for, like I mentioned earlier on, will be misjudgment style. Do take the time, do not be impulsive, and basically talk it out or negotiate or talk to people before you make your judgment. In the day, it could be more from the perspective of your spouse or with your colleagues, and in the hour is your action will bring you the recognition, bring you the increased responsibilities. But again, especially in the hour pillar, which represents your action and your investment, do take note and watch out for the misjudgment star, because it can cause issues. And since there's actually the gold blade or what we call the injury star, do watch what you say, as well as be aware of where you are traveling to, so that you do not meet with any obstacles and do not spend time or touch any of the sectors that I mentioned that you should not be knocking, cutting or drilling in 2022. Now, let's move on to those born with the rabbit within their charts. Those with the rabbit within their charts, congratulations, you are ranked 3rd in this year's new race. Let's take a look at why this is the case. Well, because you do have the sun star, the peach blossom, but a bit more of the salty pool star. What does it mean? The sun star is actually a nobleman star, where especially from a career perspective, you will receive a lot of help from mentors, from people who are willing to give you a helping hand, helping you in your career growth itself. However, the sun star is also a star where if you are willing to serve other people, to help other people, more aid and help will come even more to you. And for the rabbit itself with the peach blossom, but more towards the salty pool side, it generally is a good star if you are single, because it gives you opportunities to meet basically the opposite gender, because you'll seem more attractive to them. And especially if you're on social media nowadays and you're looking for new followers, people liking what you are creating in terms of your content, these stars will aid you. However, if you're a married couple, do watch out that you do not overstep and go into situations where there might be slander, because the salty pool star can be a tad too over the board. Besides that of the sun, peach blossom and salty pool star, you do also have the wealth loss and disaster star. In terms of when you're investing, when you're taking financial risks, investment itself, please do take special care. And especially when you're traveling, do take care of where you're traveling to, whether there are any natural disasters or any looming things that are coming. Also, because the rabbit is in the East Palace and in the year 2022, you will have the argumentative energies within your chart, which I'll touch on a little later. Now, the rabbit within your year pillar itself would mean that your overall industry environment, the bigger company environment, you see more helpful people coming to you, and therefore you extend your help to them, more help will come to you. And also, if you're in social media, the year is your bigger general environment, your social circle. That's also good if you are a social media influencer. And if it's within your month, then good news from the career and immediate department side, because you will receive a lot of help. If you have the rabbit within the day, because this is also your spouse palace, then that's where, although you may receive help from your spouse, people who are your peers or your siblings, do watch out for the salty pool star, because if you are married, it can bring some troublesome issues in the year 2022. And if you have the rabbit in the hour, from a social media perspective, it's also a great time because that's where your action is. And because of the sun star, if you take the right kind of actions to help others, you will see the help or aid coming back to you as mentioned earlier on. And if you have the rabbit in your hour, do take note of the Sortipu Slender Star, like I mentioned earlier on. If you were to look at the East Palace where the rabbit is, it has the number 3 argumentative star. Therefore, if it's at all possible, do not spend too much time in the number 3 sector discussing, especially with your spouse or in relationship matters, because you may end up in an argument itself. However, if you are looking at a child who's not very motivated in studies, the number 3 star can be utilized as a good study area because it makes a person more competitive. So by spending time there, it's great this new year. If you want your child or yourself to be a bit more aggressive, to basically be more competitive and gain recognition and overcome competition. Hope you have enjoyed what I've shared with you for those with the tiger and the rabbit within their charts. And do watch out for my coming episode next week where I'll discuss those with the dragon and snake within their charts. And if you'd like to read out more, please go to the link that I've placed in the video description if you would like to have a preview of your animal horoscope and it's not coming up till end of December or January itself. So I'll see you in my channel again next week. Goodbye.